Hi students, in this video I'm going to explain how to write equations of quadratic functions in intercept form. So this is new to you. You have seen already the equations written in standard form, written in vertex form. So now we're going to talk about intercept form. So why do we need to know this? Well, again, it's based on what information you're given. So this is the approach you want to take whenever you're given the intercepts, the x-intercepts, and you could just use those to mathematically calculate your equation given the intercepts only. So this is if you're given x-intercepts. Or if you are not given, at least you can identify them just by looking at them here. Here is whenever you're given the vertex. Or if you're not given the vertex, you can identify the vertex by looking here. And then over here, the standard form, I don't think it was emphasized, but in Algebra 1, pretty much just by looking at the standard form, you could find the y-intercept. The c value was the y-intercept in the quadratic formula, just by looking at it. Or if you were given the y-intercept. Notice that all of these do have that a value. And that a value is very important because it tells you if the graph is opening up, opening down, wide, or narrow. Okay, so keep that in mind. So here in the steps of how to write intercept form given the intercepts. So you're going to identify those zeros. And once again, you need to know the vocabulary: zeros, x-intercepts. They're also called solutions. And they're also called roots. So there is an acronym to remember all these, and that is called ROCKS. And I'll just write over here on the side. ROCKS. ROCKS. R stands for roots. O stands for zeros. X stands for x-intercepts. And S stands for solutions. So if you memorize ROCKS, you memorize that all these four words represent the same thing. So when you identify the zeros, you're going to identify them and see them as letter P and letter Q in the template. That's where you put those values in there. And then you're going to have a third point, just like you did with the previous example of vertex form. Same thing here. You're going to use that point to help you find that a value once again. Same process as the previous notes. You're going to substitute the four letters, the four variables, and then you're going to solve for a. Once you get the a value, you plug in, and then you have your equation. So here's an example. You have a graph. These are your intercepts. So that is your P and your Q. This is the template. So you're going to substitute that for P and that for Q. So this is what it looks like. And then after that, you're going to look for another point. Here they use the point 0, -6, which is the y-intercept. And they plugged in the 0 for x and the -6 for y. So this is what it looks like. And then when they cleaned it up and simplified, they ended up finding the a value. Once the a value is found, you finalize your equation in intercept form. So this is very important to identify the three types of forms, because once again, just by looking at them, you can identify these attributes based on the form you are given. All right, so let's try some examples. So in this first example, you are to write an equation in intercept form given the following x-intercepts. So these two, that will be your P and your Q. And then the y-intercept, so that will be your point, your x comma y. The template for this will be y equals a, x minus p, x minus q. And then you substitute these four values. So for the y, we're going to put -42. We don't have the a. For the x, we're going to put a 0 minus your p. Your p value is that 1. And then repeat it again. We're going to have x, which is that 0, minus your q. Your q is that -7. So we're going to put minus -7. We simplify, we end up doing 0 minus 1, which is negative 1. Here is 0 minus negative 7, so that becomes 0 plus 7, and 0 plus 7 is just 7. A still in the front, negative 42 is still there. Then we multiply these two, and we end up with negative 7. And then at the end, we just have A times the number equals that 42, so we're going to divide by negative 7. And 42 divided by 7 is 6. So A is 6, positive 6. So we end up writing the final equation by writing y equals the A value, which is 6, parentheses, x minus your P value, which is 1, and then x minus your Q value, which is negative 7. So if it's negative, we're going to have minus negative, which results in plus. So this ends up being your final intercept form equation. Okay, pause the video so you can try the next problem, and press play when you're ready to watch. All right, on this video, like I said, fast forward to the parts that you want to see, but I am going to go over every problem just to make sure you have the correct answer. So this is your P, this is your Q, this is your X and Y, and then the template is A, X minus P, X minus Q, and we substitute negative 1 equals X is negative 5 minus P is negative 3. And then X is negative 5 minus your Q is negative 4. All right, a lot of negatives, so just keep track of them. Let me zoom in. When you simplify, you're going to have double negative right here, which becomes negative 5 plus 3. This is minus negative, so that becomes negative 5 plus 4. And then we have negative 5 plus 3, which is negative 2. Negative 5 plus 1, which is negative 1. Negative 2 times negative 1, that's positive 2. And then we get rid of the number next to A by dividing by 2. So A is negative 1/2. Once you have that A value, you grab that P and Q value as well, and you write your equation. Y equals A value first, so negative 1/2, parentheses, X minus your P value, which is negative 3. So if it's minus negative, it becomes plus 3. And then X minus your Q value, which is negative as well, so plus 4. Okay, and that should have been the answer that you got. Catch your mistakes and try not to repeat them. Okay, let's practice this next problem. In the back, we have the roots. And again, roots are your zeros, your x-intercepts. So they're vocabulary. You just got to know that this is your P and that's your key. P and Q. Negative 136 is your point, so we're going to use that as xy. Template for this is y equals A, x minus P, x minus Q. And then we have 36 equals A, x is 1, minus P is negative 2, so that's minus negative 2. X is 1, so let me erase that again. And 1 minus your Q, which is negative 5, so minus negative 5. All right, so a lot of negatives again, so just minus negative is plus. And then you have 1 plus 2, which is 3. 1 plus 5, which is 6. 3 times 6, which is 18. And then you divide. So 36 divided by 18, that's 2. 2 equals 8. So if A equals 2, your final answer for the equation will be y equals 2, parentheses, x minus your P, which is minus negative 2, so that's positive 2. and x minus your q, which is -5, so minus -5, which is +5. Okay, so that's the intercept form for that one. All right, pause the video so you can try the next problem. All right, hopefully you tried it by now. Let's check if you did it correctly. So this is your P and Q right here, and this is your X and Y. Zeros, once again, is the same as X intercepts. So we're gonna have Y equals A, X minus P, X minus Q, and then -18 equals A. 0 is your X, so 0 minus 1, 0 minus 6, and then we simplify. So 0 minus 1 is -1, 0 minus 6 is -6. Negative times negative is positive, 1 times 6 is 6. And then we divide by 6. So -3 equals 8. So y equals -3, x minus p, which is 1, and x minus q, which is 6. And hopefully this is the answer you got. All right, let's try the next one. Here you have a graph, and you're looking for the intercepts and a point. So that's your P, Q, and your X and Y. So same process, Y equals A, X minus P, X minus Q. Y value is -4. X value is -2. Minus your P, which is -5, so minus negative. And then -2 is your X minus your Q, which is 1. Okay, so let's simplify. Double negative means we add, so -2 plus 5. -2 plus 5 is 3, and -2 minus 1 is -3. And then 3 times -3 is -9. And here we have a division of -9 on both sides. So A equals 4/9. Now, because it's a fraction, what I will do is I will just go back and double check that every part was correct. So X, Y, X, X. Okay, -4. -2 is your X, minus negative, minus 1. Everything seems to be correct. So I will say trust your gut, and that is the A value. So now the equation is y equals 4/9 as your A value, x minus the P, which is -5, so that's going to be minus negative, so it's +5, and then x minus 1. If you want to also verify, just graph it in the calculator and double check that all these features are there. I'm just going to show you that real quick just so it can be on the video. It's going to be just typed the way you created it. And then you analyze it by menu, trace, graph trace. And then if you go to the far left, it's going to show you the 0 of -5, 0, which is what we have. The point of -2, -4, and then the other 0 of 1, 0. So it confirms that that is our equation. All right, so for the next one, I'm going to run out of time, so I'm actually going to make a part 2 for this video if you guys want to continue watching this. Okay, hope this video helps.